You might be familiar with the organization called CISA, CISA. Now, CISA stands for the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. And it is an organization that is part of DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. The job of CISA is to monitor cybersecurity, just the way it says, and in particular, cybersecurity as it affects elections. Now, as it turns out, CISA has been actively involved in censorship. CISA has been coordinating with digital platforms. It has been shutting down accounts through these platforms. It has been calling for people to be suppressed and banned. It makes lists of people who are supposedly producing election misinformation or disinformation. It tries to get those accounts canceled. So it is part, by the way, working in conjunction with a number of other groups, and not to mention the digital platforms themselves, Meta, YouTube, Twitter, and so on. And now, starting with the Twitter files, but continuing with House GOP investigations, this censorship apparatus is being busted. It is being blown wide open. And even though at this point nothing has been, quote, done about it, the first step in getting things done is getting information out. Because why? When information gets out, people can file lawsuits and go, hey, listen, I was shut down by Twitter for no reason other than they got my name from a government agency. This is a direct violation of my free speech. So this needs to be happening, and I hope it's happening right now. If you can find your name, and I can tell you if I find my name delivered to these digital platforms by government agencies for suppression or censorship, you can be pretty sure I'll be forwarding that correspondence to my lawyers. Now, the House is onto it. And this also means that the GOP can initiate legislation. Now, this legislation is not going to go anywhere now. Why? Because the Democrats hold a very narrow, but they still hold a majority in the Senate. And of course, you have Biden who can veto laws. But nevertheless, the legislation serves a purpose, and that is that it forms part of the GOP action agenda for 2024. Hey, listen, if we have a GOP House and a GOP Congress, these people are going to have to face the music. And so all of this, and then not to mention, it alerts people on the Supreme Court and on appellate courts that there are massive violations of free speech going on throughout the country. And the fact that these are being cheered by the left, the fact that the media is looking the other way. Even the ACLU, I notice, is starting to get a little more troubled about the extent of this censorship. I mean, it's a funny thing to say because the ACLU should be in the forefront of defending free speech, and it clearly isn't. But on the other hand, it doesn't seem to be entirely comfortable with being on the side of the censors. Well, as it turns out, CISA is now out in the open as part of the censorship community, the censorship enforcement apparatus. And so they're trying to now hide this. And this was actually noticed by Fox News. And Fox News, which, by the way, Fox News normally doesn't do any reporting. It's almost an embarrassment because what Fox News does is it takes the reporting of other people. People like Matt Taibbi, people that are doing John Solomon, our friend Cheryl Atkinson and others, they do the reporting, and Fox then basically regurgitates it on the air. But in this case, I have to give credit to Fox because Fox noticed that that CISA has tried to camouflage the magnitude of its involvement with censorship by changing its own website. So apparently the CISA website at one point had detailed accounts of CISA's involvement in flagging and taking down social media posts related to elections, to COVID vaccines, a range of other issues that are deemed to be misinformation. And now when you go to the CISA page, that is all gone. It's all disappeared off the CISA page. And now there's kind of a new page, and the new page basically focuses solely on foreign influence. Foreign influence in spreading misinformation. This gives CISA a chance to say, well, listen, just because we're part of Homeland Security, it is our job to monitor foreign actors that are producing false information, obviously for the malign purposes of serving foreign state interests. Fortunately, Representative James Comer, Republican of Kentucky, is now on the case. And he basically points out that CISA has been operating all this time, quote, in partnership with left-leaning private organizations, which by themselves get millions of dollars in federal money to take action against political speech unfavorable to the administration, especially around the handling of COVID-19 policy. It looks like so many of these organizations, when cornered, they dodge, they hide, they lie, and CISA seems to be in the forefront of an organization devoted not to public disclosure or even the public interest, but to public deceit.